If a challenge doesn't change how you think, spend, or decide how to handle your money, did you do it just for the plot or did you really do it for a pivot? The plot meaning social media told you to do it. The pivot meaning, hey, I know I need to make a change in how my money is arranged. So every few months, social media gets this new personality trait, or not like a personality hire, but like a personality trait when it comes to your money. Meaning, if you see someone talking about, oh, I want to do this or whatever, this is how I do it, and then you like, well, I want to do it too. But one of the things that I have seen time and time again around this time of year, especially Q1 of any year, and I will say around June, I see that this actual trend it pops up every now and again. No spend or no buy January, low buy spring, lock in, clock in, summer. You see the trends. So whenever you understand the trends of social media, you'll be able to trend how that will look like in your end. If a challenge doesn't change how you think, spend, or decide how to handle your money, did you do it just for the plot or did you really do it for a pivot? The plot meaning social media told you to do it. The pivot meaning, hey, I know I need to make a change in how my money is arranged. So this is what I'm going to be doing, and this is how I'm going to anticipate it. You already see quick takes on how to do things like these savings challenges, but the takes doesn't really change you if you're not really setting the intention, looking at the insights, and determining how am I going to come out on the other side of this being new with money or handling money and building the wallet as well as the wealth what comes into money management. Because think about it. When people talk about wealth, oh, I want to get wealthy, the wallet aspect is one of the key things that people leave out the group chat when it comes to that. Because how you handle your wallet at $1,000 or $100 or $10 will be how you handle it at 10,000, 10 million, whatever is your comfort number. If you have a what's that comfort mattress, you probably seen something like the comfort level where you so your comfort level when it comes to your wallet and your wealth or whatever you want to have it, or your pre-rich era and going into your rich era, you're like, you get to set what that looks like, not only in increments in money, but how it feels like. Financial freedom is something that we all strive for, but you have to set that comfort level for you, but not what social media tells you what to do. So I wanted to give more context on moving beyond the plot, but also making a change when it comes to doing these no spend, low spend challenges or low spend, no spend buys, no matter when. Because people jump into doing these challenges with good intentions. Love it. But the preparation as well as the implementation is what it goes off track. And they treat it like a trend versus a tool. And I wanted to help you move that into not only being a tool, but a way that you like notice that, hey, the plot has been missed when it comes to how I handle my budget, how I handle my money. So I might even do a no spend, low spend. Me and my friends talked about this a while ago, doing like a no buy over certain areas of our wallet. So I wanted to add context beyond the already YouTube video that I have around no spend, low spend, as well as a blog post that gives us like those are like the groundwork. But the reason why I'm making this video is that because when it starts getting uncomfortable for you to do a no spend, low spend, no buy, low buy, it's hard. It's too hard. I don't want you to quit. I want you to understand how to pivot, make this actually a plot beyond the plot. But most of the time when people are doing these type of challenges, they're not doing it because they're bad with money. I'm going to tell you this shit now. You're not bad with money. You're just understanding bad buddy. I'm sorry, Super Bowl yesterday. That you are just getting better with money. This is like your money, but better. So regardless if you have that big ass goal or big account goal that you want to have unfold within your portfolio, I want you to know what your means are. Understand what that means for you and how you move with your money and do your money, but better. So when you're building the foundation to that more, that is able to be easy. It's not going to feel too hard. You got to get all these people. Yeah, I want you to get all the people like me, the money people and all that stuff. But I want you to be able to know whenever you look at your money, regardless of increment or regardless of whatever, that, hey, this is what I'm doing different. This is what I need to be doing better. Because, off track side quest story, because that's what I really want for you. So most people fail at these challenges because they skip this 3D framework that I created this job and anybody else. That there's three things that I call 3D. I will have my glasses on today. When it comes to doing these type of challenges or any challenge in forever, because I have a challenge talking about how to save $5,050 in 100 days with sticky notes. But if your mindset going into any kind of challenge doesn't change you. It's like you just did it for the plot. But the reason why is because a lot of people don't do or succeed at them is because of three things. And I want to talk about those three phases in this video. And I'm not just talking about, like I said, the no spend, low spend, but the three phases, which is the data or data. Which way did you say it? I don't know if you're in the UK, y'all say data or whatever. I don't know. But I say, depending on this environment, I say data or I say data. Data is phase one. Phase two is the direction or the duration. Phase three is the decision. I didn't, anyway, but it's how to handle each one, no matter the challenge that you're doing, whether it's a no spend, low spend challenge, saving $1,000 in a year, saving $10,000 in a year, doing, I don't know, any kind of challenge that you may see, that this is how you handle your money. So I wanted to talk about those 3D little aspects when it comes to how to move inside each one and how to have those challenges actually change how you handle your funds. So let's get into phase one. My bad. I am Nadia. I'm a financial planner as well as an educator. I help people who are annoyed with their money and get them aligned with their accounts as well as their money in general. So I have a company called the Brands Advanced Strategy Group here in Charlotte, North Carolina, but I work with people virtually. I yap about money and help people roadmap their money pretty much. So I'm going to go into phase one. So phase one is the data or the data. And regardless of if you are picking any kind of challenge that you may use, I want you to do a what? Out of your wallet. I'm sorry, this comes up in almost nearly every video because the framework, understanding the foundation of where you are is what's going to push you to where you want to be. So when you do it out of your wallet, you understand what your real numbers are. So you can see someone telling you on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, on whatever, that, hey, I'm doing a no spend, low spend challenge. And this is all you're going to hear all the time. But I love when people do give their takes on what actually took root and what actually got lost in the transition. So the thing around doing an audit of your wallet before you do a no spend, low spend challenge or any kind of challenge is because you have to know the real numbers versus the ratio or the algorithm reality of what money should look like. So it's unsexy, depending on if you make it sexy in your money date or whatever, but it's about getting real with your wallet. So, well, I'm going to tell you what to do, which I have a blog post about this, by the way, which is I want you the how-to of doing out of your wallet leading into any kind of challenges. The first one is to pull your last couple, 2, 3, even 1 to 2 of your bank statements and your credit card statements. I want you to not only pull them out, I want you to highlight like where this is the program, meaning your paycheck and your budget. But where did I lose it? Where did I get lost in the sauce? Is it the door dashing? Is it the this company had a drop on something? Is this, I saw someone say on TikTok or whatever that this is the latest drop, or hey, maybe the snowstorm happened recently here in the Carolinas. Maybe the snowstorm made me go over what the norm is when it comes to my groceries or eating out or whatever. So I want you to not only pull those statements, but get a statement of why the fuck did you mess up with your money? You like my bleep a little bit? Why the F did you mess up with your money? Then part 2 is we're going to compare the bank and credit card statements to the budget. Whenever you're able to compare it to the budget, you'll be able to say, this is what the program was. Your budget is not, this is a plan. This is a program that you're no bigger than the program, friend. So you have to understand what the program is, and then you understand what the play is. I love giving analogies, and I talked about this recently over Threads, is that if you are going back, looking at the film, meaning reviewing your budget, like, hey, this is what I did. I did this right. I did do this right. I'm not going to be like Don Staley and show you on the bad shit. I'm going to show you everything. I love gain costs. But anyway, so I want you to know what you thought you were going to spend, and here's the reality. Your budget is what you think you're going to do. The reality is what your bank and credit card statements show you. So it's like the versus of TI versus TIP of when you comes to your money, but you have to not only pull your last bank and credit card statements, but look at how it compares to the plan that you had. A lot of people tell you to live within your means, but a lot of people don't know what that means for their money, because the plot gets missed between here's the plan, here's what I actually did. So whenever you do that, then I want you to break down your spending from the bank and credit card statements and the budget to determine what was fixed. Meaning, hey, it's a fixed fight. I don't have to fight with it. That is your housing, your utilities, your insurance, your debt. That is your fixed bills. But then when it comes to the flexible, the nice to haves that you have, eating out, grocery shopping, shopping in general, entertainment, subscriptions, We already got content over here on the channel talking about all those things. But the thing that I want to pull out when it comes to talking about the flexible is that you need to know your needs to haves, which is usually your fixed bills or bills that you can't really skip on, or your nice to haves. And then whenever you determine what your nice to haves is, you'll be able to say, okay, these might be the areas that I overspend in. So going back to, you pull your bank and credit card statements, pull your budget, but then you look at what you actually are moving into the flex as well as the fix, that you look at your flex and say, hey, within my flex side, that, hey, I overdo it when it comes to what I budgeted for. When it comes to my eating out, what I budgeted for when it comes to my grocery shopping, what I budgeted for when it comes to me having entertainment, and just because if, I need a get for push through life, just because. I want you to understand what was the budget that you had and what was the play that you ran. So that's when it began understanding the statement of what your statements say, but then determine whenever you look at your flexible, whenever you look at your fix, that how can this challenge fix it? Meaning, if I'm going to do a no spend, low spend over on shopping, we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but over on shopping, this is what this looks like. If I'm going to do a no spend, low spend on food, this is what it's going to look like. So you have to understand what's the play that you get ready to run. And then the highlight of it all is that what's draining cash? I know it could be you, but it could be the economy too. What's not adding value to your wallet? And where do you actually have some wiggle room? I know I'm the financial planner who tells you to have wiggle room, to tell you to actually budget yourself within your budget and actually put you in your money. Put yourself first, Lucius. This is the old thing back. But a client that I had recently moved into doing a no spend challenge, only to realize they actually didn't have much to cut. That's a real thing. A lot of people tell you, cut your expenses. But what is the expenses that you have, you can't be cut? That is a cutting room floor. What if you can't cut? It wasn't the issue being disciplined. It was just the direction on what their money was going. So we actually pivoted them to do a low spend challenge to put guardrails on how to rework better, and also to determine what can I do instead of. Well, this is like a whole caveat. I love to do that. Is that the alternative is, say for instance with my hair. I talked about this on some content recently. I noticed that my hair was costing the car payment like 4-5 hundo. And I determined that even though me being a financial planner, me having money, all that, like that quotes, that life is lifing, that I know that this right here didn't fit within my flow as well as my goals. So what did I do? I go and find a braider that had the quality that I love, that fit the quantity of my budget. So sometimes you might have to do a no spend, low spend, but no spend, low spend will tell you that you might need to do an alternative to what you were doing. It still gives you that balance of doing what you was doing, but it allows you to say, hey, this is what I can do better. So regardless of me spending 4-5 hundo every so often, and I think it was like, 4 times a year or whatever, I'm spending 200-300 every so often. And the hair is just as good. Back to the plot. So the thing is that the data shows the decision, and these challenges actually will show you the value of how much your life costs, not just the vibes. So go back into this phase and pull all that info and determine going into phase 2, which is direction. So you got to understand what's the direction, what's the GPS of this challenge going to do for you, and we're going to walk through that now. So now that you determine that, hey, maybe can I do both at the same time? But whatever you figure out the challenge that fits not only your life, but your funds, you need to understand how or why you're going to do it. Phase 2 is like what you see people talk about, the rules of it. Or I will say the direction or the decision of it. It's like, okay, so what am I trying to accomplish here? What's the plan for it? And any money challenge that you do has to figure this out too. Is that, am I trying to save a specific amount? Am I trying to pay off a balance? Am I actually trying to get a realization of what my budget should be if I implement it the right way? Am I trying to get a month ahead or pay up a month of my bills just in case something happens, if you will, because this economy is not standing still? Is it for me breaking the bad habit? For me, one of my bad habits back in the day, sometimes it sneaks up on me, is that I am prone. If I see it's some on sale, I like shopping. I like nice stuff. But if I'm noticing that I can get something of quality for quantity, but now I do like a 24-hour pause before I purchase. Well, I talked about this previously, but that's just a little side caveat. It's like, am I breaking a bad habit? My involuntary no spend, due to the fact the economy was shitty back then, well, my economy was shitty back then, allowed me to say, hey, these are some guardrails I need to put into place when it comes to guarding my swipe, because tap won't around then, my swipe. So another one, could I create some breathing room within my budget? So if you've been following me, I've been talking about when it comes to finding the capacity and the consistency when it comes to saving and investing. And oftentimes people can't save $7, $10, $5, or whatever, or can't invest that amount of money due to the fact that, hey, they're overextended in life. Doesn't mean that they're overspending, but they're overextending. And they can keep people from handling their money how they want to. So you have to determine, I had an epiphany just then, that, hey, how can I create some breathing room? And these challenges usually can be the way for you to see that through. And once you choose the outcome of what you're doing, I want you to go write that down or put it in a note in whenever your notes on your phone or wherever, or create a Canva and say, hey, this is a challenge that I want to do. And this is like a sticky note for me. I'm not, obviously the queen of sticky notes right now. So how you do that is that you determine, after I go look at my bank, my credit card, my budget, and you figure out what that is not budging right now, that if you're going to do a no spend, we eliminating certain like categories of spend, low spend, meaning creating the cap. We're going to, how the sports league and everybody love to give you a cap. You know how your company that you work for loves to give you a cap, but this is the most you can make. Just saying. So that's what you have to do that to yourself. Is determine, do I want to do this for the whole, like for my overall expenses outside of, or do I want to only focus on shopping, eating out, or whatever? You have to determine, here's a no spend, low spend, what I can do, but do I want to do it through everything or for specific things? So that's what I'm saying. And then another element to the duration or the decision is that, how long are we going to do it? If you watched part 1 of it all, you know where I'm going to go with this. Are we going to do it for 7 days? Are we going to do it for 3 days, y'all? Are we going to do a Daniel fast of it? Are we going to do 14 days? Are we going to do 30 days? Heck, I know people who are doing it for the year. Baby, bless your heart. Or they're doing it for a quarter. Wherever you go, hey, it is on you. But I would suggest for you to at least do either a week. I have my clients, especially if they are overspenders, they start at a week and they have to actually write down what they would have spent and then determine how they could actually retool that SOP of it all. So I usually suggest you to do between 7 days or 14 days to determine and see some shift, and then determine if they want to extend it. Like they're going to do a payment arrangement and extend the payment out for doing these things a little bit differently. If you see people doing a no spend, low spend challenge, the thing that I tell you, how I just talk about my client and how I have them do 7 days no spending, especially on shopping, right? And I have them write that out, what they would have spent, all that good stuff. This is something I want to charge you to do, is that if you're not doing any spending or you're not doing any eating out, if you do have that money just sitting there, are you going to, come on, Southerner, are you going to either move that money into a high yield savings account, or are you going to take that money and then pay the interest out on one credit card throughout the duration? So say for instance, I have a video up talking about, hey, if the Capital One say, hey, you could actually pay $15 on top of your minimum payment to pay that interest down further or quicker. That's another element that you can do with the money that you're not spending right now, because you technically already budgeted. But anyway, you can either pay yourself ahead on getting that the pay up aspect, meaning you're having a month of your bills paid, you got credit or that good stuff on those accounts. That's what I mean. So another thing for you to understand and add in is your rules. You got to have rules. Got to have parameters. If you don't, in the original video, I talked about the instance of doing a no spend, low spend on shopping, is that here's my rules. When I was doing shopping, I can only buy things I need to have, not my nice to have. And there's always a caveat. If I go outside of that, I would have to put, I talked about that 24-hour pause on my purchase. That's where it came from. Is that now I have to have a 24-hour pause. And then if I do a 24-hour pause, I can only spend $25. Something along those lines. But child, I was on an involuntary low spend challenge. But when it comes to no spend, if you want to flip it, it's that in the key areas of your budget that you want to do, before the challenge, meaning if I know I want to cut out on eating out, I went to the grocery store. I brought this. I did Chat GPT Claude, and now Claude is trying to bump Chat GPT from being anyway. And I say, here's my meal plan. I've done ingredient shopping, meaning I see stuff on buy one, get one that I'm going to do when it comes to the grocery store so I can have these things in the house. So I don't have to worry about eating out, but I'm going to be chef currying with it anyway. So it's like I prep before the challenge. I will not have a range, but not to spend within these key areas. If I'm going to buy stuff to eat out, baby, I'm not eating out at all. And then if you have the temptation to spend, take that money that you would have spent and move it into those 3 areas that we talked about. So it's about redirection. Like if I want to spend, I'm putting that money in a high yield savings account or towards a goal that I have for my savings or anything like that. And it will grow within this challenge. But then the challenge is not about restriction, but redirection. Oh, Q for your A. If you were able to free up extra cash today, where would it go to first? High yield savings account, interest on some credit cards to pay them down, or to pay it on the bill, extra on the bill. You already paid off the bill. You'll pay it on the bill. So let me know in the comment section below. Now let's get into the final phase, which is the decision or the debrief. What are you doing with, all that. So this part of the challenge is very interesting because this is the part that see what did you change. It does. It's about this is where the challenge, like, it's off autopilot. Now you back in the field. And a lot of the times I see people that do these no spin, low spin, lock in, clock in kind of challenges is that whenever they get off a challenge, they'll make a nice post or they'll give a nice reflection, but it doesn't reflect in the direction of their dollars. They did it for the plot. And then they find themselves back in the same pit that they were in before. Not judging, just saying. So it's about how do we flip it from what we were doing to implement it to become not a hack. There we go. Move from hack to habit. Got a freebie over my newsletter if you sign up that tells you about the social media hacks that you can have and then how you can make them an actual financial habit. But anyway, we're back. You know how I move myself back. Anyway, so it's about understanding now that the challenge has ended, what categories were the hardest? What did I get hiccups about? Where did I cheat? And why? What actually surprised you about yourself and also your spending habits or your money habits? Or just overall your budget? Did you notice that during this challenge, I need to actually move the needle or the range of my budget to be this versus what I had before? Or this is what I can need to call the cable company to say, hey, I don't really use as much cable. I'm mostly on TikTok and social media. Do you have a promo that would do this? And then I'm going to take what I would have spent that much money on and redirect it to something else because technically you already have a budget. But anyway, so it's about reviewing and renewing how you do your money. And then also to identify, do you have, like I said, the real range and what can you actually sustain? I know me. I know people look at me like, oh, she talks about money. She doesn't really travel. Hey, not yet. But it's about me restraining myself, not restraining, but redirecting how I handle money during this season to build what I really want to build, or this platform or this company. It's more than just showing and getting click and going viral. It's about having value on how my money looks, regardless of if I am a financial planner and educator and I yap about money, but how does money actually show up for me? How do I show up for money? What is my relationship with money? This season is all about that. It's been a tough one. Because Beyonce done went on tour and I ain't gonna see her because all y'all want to buy the tickets. But I'm not gonna do it next time. But it's about identifying what does the season of money look like? How does challenge actually changed you? And how it's going to make you see what you can sustain or not rationally sustain. Sustain is like, I'm depriving myself. Let's just say rearrange, right? So whenever you determine that all of those informations, you go back to the top of, you like that, to the top of the challenge when you made all those goals and stuff, and you see, hey, did I actually check in my goals? This is another thing I did not add in my script, is that whenever you're going through the challenge, especially if it's over whatever duration, that you check in. The same way that you check in with your budget midway during the month to determine, am I on track or am I far from that? And you need to do the same thing whenever you are doing a challenge of any sort, regardless of a no spin, low spin, Saving 1,000, saving 500, saving whatever, turning 5 fishes into 2 loaves of bread into feeding the 5,000. I don't know. Regardless of, you can tell where I am, right? Regardless of that, if you are checking in with yourself mid-month or mid-challenge and saying, hey, what do I need to change? I don't want you to get to the end of the challenge and be like, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. Because, hey, you could have stopped or rearranged midway if you would have checked in with yourself, your money, and the challenge. But anyway, is that I want you to add that into that. So if you're going to make a calendar of this is the month or the duration of this right here, this I have the nice to have, need to have, all that good stuff, and the what's it called? The instructions, rules, or whatever. Then I want you to add key points or milestones. I did project management in my former life, child. Milestones on where I'm going to check in to see where I am happening when it comes to this challenge. Then you're able to say, going over to the side part, what habits actually stuck? What systems actually need to change? Maybe you're doing a 50, 30, 20 because social media told you, but you actually need to do a zero-based budget or a realistic budget. What rules need to be updated? You should have rules when it comes to your money. Yes, you want to just, I don't, you want to, you just need to make more money so you can be able to do what you want. No, your goals is what is going to help you determine your rules and where your money should go. This challenge isn't about a win, but it's a decision. It's the decision is your win. Because it's that flip after after you end up restructuring your relationship with money. I want these challenges to be not only challenge how you handle your money, but your relationship with money. And the no spend, low spend challenge will do that. It will read you for filth. It will pull your slip and show you where you're slipping at. It's no matter which that you do. If done right, you will get aligned. Because I know a lot of people, when they are doing them, they are annoyed with their money. I mean, that's not calling card, right? Like I said at the top of the video or the group chat, is that if a challenge doesn't change you, how you do things with your money, did you really just do it for the plot? Or you just do it for the pivot? Did you do it for the plot because social media tell you to do it this time of year? Just like everybody was doing a curriculum. Are you checking in with your curriculum? Or you just did it just for the plot, or did you actually do it to make a change? But hey, anyway, so let's go into closing out this video. Oh, let me say this. So phase 1 was the data. We're gonna recap real quick. Phase 1 was the data, or the data, meaning you pull in your budget, your credit card statements, and you pull in your bank statements to determine this is what I overspend on. This is what I'm doing. I'm going to pull a no spend challenge for this duration, and this is the intention that I have from looking at the insights of how I'm going to do that. What goals do I have that I want to do? How I want to make money move differently. Phase 2 was you think I should have this at the top of my head, right? I don't. Phase 2 was the direction or the decision. Am I going to do, like I said, no spend, low spend? Or am I going to make it this duration? I can only do 7 days. I can only do a Daniel fast. I can only do 14 days. I can't do no 60 days or whatever. You do what you can do within the capacity that you have mentally as well as monetarily. But anyway, so that's what phase 2 is, the direction and duration. Phase 3, we already know it's a decision as well as a debrief. You should have these debrief periods within your budget, in your budgeting style, and your money management and your goals. So right now, people are still getting on the bandwagon when it comes to getting into 2026, opting in. I mean, we can't help it. We have to opt in. And you're like, we're almost through February. Happy Black History Month. But I have nowhere near, I have not started saving. I have not started doing this. So you need to go back and determine why. Is it because your mindset, or is it because you procrastinating, or because shit's been real? People get laid off. It is what it is. So whenever you determine the decision and the debrief of anything that you do, you'll be able to say, hey, did I do it for the plot because social media told me to, or I did it for the pivot? Okay. So let's go into closing this out. So if you want to go deeper, I already have the YouTube video I talked about recently, as well as a blog post, and I'm yapping about this over on other forms of social media. So you can check those out in the comments section below. And let me know in the comments if you have done a no spend, low spend challenge. What did you get from it? What would you change from it? And what advice do you have for anybody that might be watching this video that will want to do a no spend, low spend challenge, no matter if it's January, June, or anything that ends in or any month of the year. And if you're thinking, all right, how does this look in my life outside of doing a no spend, low spend challenge? You can work with me directly for Ask Me Anything. So if you've done this challenge, you're like, Nadia, what is the next steps could I do? How does this look for my money? What is some of the advice that you have about me trying to pay off this debt or whatever due to during this duration of this no spend low spend. My Ask Me Anything service will be amazing. But hey, maybe you have done this and you say me, okay, the budget that I had wasn't really budget, the math wasn't mathing. Now, especially that I see this with this challenge, I can actually offer you a budget analysis, meaning I look at your budget, look at the notes you have for the no spend low spend challenge, and we come up with suggestions for you to move forward. So those are two services that I really push in this time of year because those are where people actually have the most need beyond an old financial plan. Okay. Because the goal isn't just necessarily to follow trends. The goal is to build systems that work when nobody's watching. It's not about what you do for the viral plot, but the value of what you're doing when it comes to your money management. Q for your A. All right. What is one spending habit that do you really think that needs adjusting this year? I got a couple of them. Okay. So share this. Give me a like, follow, comment in the comment section. Go through, look at old videos, and send this to anyone that you know that needs to handle their dough. Stay funded. That's it.